Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the new subject herbal drug technology. Right, in that first unit there is a herbs as a plant materials. Right, in pharmacognosy we have discussed so many medicinal plant part as a crude drug, and we could see there the lot of use into the health benefits. Right, it is active into the so having the so many medicinal properties, and that's what they are being used into the herbal formulations, and they are the reference for the synthetic and semi synthetic drugs also. Right, so today we are going to discuss that how the plant materials they can act as a herbs. Right, so what is herbs actually? So when we talk about this, we are trying to define the herbs. Herbs are flowering plants, right? The plant which can flower. Herbs are nothing but flowering plants whose stems grow above ground or above the earth and are not woody. Right, so these many property the herbs supposed to. First of all, they should be the flowering plant, and their stems grow above the plant. Sometimes stems may be the below the ground also. Right, so above the ground there will be the stems, and are not woody. Wood, the wood part which will be there after the bark, inside the bark, cork, cambium wood, that's what we could see into the transverse section of stem. So there will not be the wood part, woody parts. If it will be there also, that will be the minor. They have weak and a soft stem. That's what woody part, if it is not there, definitely the stem it is going to be the weak, or very minor woods will be there, or it will be very soft at the same time. They are plants which are known for medicinal value, flower scent, etc. Right, so herbs are nothing but the plants, but they should have some kinds of medicinal value. Right, some types of chemical constants supposed to be there in that particular plant part or in that particular herb, so that it can show any types of activity or action into the biological system. And their flowers should have the particular types of scent or aroma or fragrance. That's what all the flowers, say for example rose, jasmine, they are having the strong pleasant aroma. Right, so that is the features or property of the herb supposed to have. Any plant with leaves, seeds, or flowers used for flavoring agent, food, medicine purpose, and also perfume purpose. Right, so so many plant they will be having the terpenoids or different types of volatile oil content. Because of the presence of these terpenoids or volatile oil contain, they are showing the flavoring agents. We could see into the volatile oil that so many types of flower buds, like say for example clove, fennel, ginger, black pepper. Right, so they are having a strong aroma. That's what they are. They are the part of our spice in the kitchen and masala purpose we are using them. Right, and in food purpose, obviously if they are there in the kitchen, they are useful for the food purpose only, for the frying of different types of curries, and so many pickles and all those things. At the same time, they will be having the medicinal value also, medicine. Right, since they are having certain types of chemical constants which can show the particular activity into the biological system, they are considered as they are having nutritional value also and the medicinal value also. Since they are having aroma or flavor, they can be used for the perfumery or into the perfume industry. Say for example rose petals are used for the preparation of itra. Right, or the different types of perfume, body perfume or body talc also, because of their good aroma or pleasant aroma. Any seed bearing plant that does not have a woody stem. Right, seed bearing means the plant which can fruits, and in that fruit there will be the seeds, and they does not contain or have woody stem. That's what in here also we could see, not woody. They are not woody, they should not have a woody stem, and dies down to the ground after flowering. Once the flower will bear into that plant, after that they will reach to the decline phase, or they will be dies down, they will dry, they will fall down into the ground, and then only they are fulfilling to be the herb in the that particular field, right? So the herbs are having these many features, then only we can say that particular is the herb. So actually, when we talk about the herbal medicine, so what is herbal medicine, right? Since we know the herbs, so in that herbal medicine, what we are adding, then it becomes herbal medicine. An herb is a plant or plant part used for its scent, flavor, or therapeutic properties or pharmacological action. Herbal medicines are one type of dietary supplements, right? That's what it is. We could see here into the, it is useful into the food, medicine, and perfumery and flavoring, right? So food means nutritional value, medicine means medicinal value. So here dietary supplements, those who are suffering from lack of calcium, lack of protein, lack of lipid, lack of, so deficiency of vitamins, so that can be given in the form of herbal products. So that then they will be act as a dietary supplements. They are sold as tablets. These are the formulations which, where we can incorporate this herbal medicine into the different dosage form: tablets, capsules, powders, teas. Different different types of herbal teas are also available. In that we are using tulsi, ginger, and so many other volatile oil containing crude drugs or leaves we can add, right? Then extracts, it may be the in the after using the suitable solvent, we are separating the chemical constants which can be used. Even you, even whatever the tea you are having every day, that is also the form of extract, aqueous extract. That's what we are boiling the tea powder into the water, right? And the fresh or dried plants also can be used, right? People use herbal medicines to try to maintain or improve their health or their immunity, we can say, right? That's what herbal medicine, it is useful to improve the health or to maintain the health, since it is considered as a safe. So, in continuation, herbal medicine is also called phytomedicine or phytotherapy, right? Why it is called phytomedicine? Since these are herb, or herb are getting, we are getting it from the phyto or plant. Phyto means plant. From the plant, whatever the chemicals are useful as a medicine, they are combinedly can say the phytomedicine. Or since from the plant we are getting the therapy by the using their constituents, that's what it is also known as phytotherapy, right? So paraherbalism describes alternative and pseudo scientific practice of using unrefined plant, right? That's what refined plant means, it is isolated, extracted, isolated, and pure pharmaceutical. Unrefined means crude drug. That's what crude plant or animal extracts as unproven medicines or health promoting agents. Why it is unproven medicines? Because clinical trial will not it has not been done at that time. Maybe the proper data, proper evidences may not be available, since it is having so many other types of chemical constituents in it. That's what it can be used combinedly. For example, senna leaf powder we are using for the purgative. So in senna leaf powder, it is not that the sennoside A, B, C, and D, it is only there. There are so many other chemical constituents also present, which may not be showing the proper activity, right? So it has not been proven that how much it is going to be the significant, but at the same time it is be significant. Paraherbalism differs from the plant derived medicines in standard pharmacology because it does not isolate or standardize biologically active compounds, right? We are not isolating. You have to focus on this word. Isolate means we are separating the chemical constituents present in your crude drug, which is responsible to give the activity. Then only it will be isolated form or isolates, right? Say for example, clove. In clove, caryophyllene is there, which is showing the dental analgesic activity. But clove we are using directly. It may be then clove oil, clove powder, right? But when you will be able to isolate the caryophyllene, it will become the synthetic or isolates, right? So here what we are doing, we are using the entire plant part. It doesn't isolate or standardize biologically active compound, whichever. Say for in clove, Caryophyllene is biologically active compound, but apart from caryophyllene, there will be so many other chemical constituents also. But rather release on the belief that the preserving various substances from a given source with less processing is safer or more effective, for which there is no evidence, right? It is believed that the herbal drugs or the Ayurvedic formulation or the Ayurvedic drug, they are more safer, right? Because it has been less processes, because we are using directly the primary type of drug we are using, right? In the form of churna, in the form of decoction, in the form of extract, it may be any form, right? Even into the incorporation into the different doses from tablet, capsule, and all those things. But less processing, we have not gone for extraction, isolation, and modification, structure activity relationship. All those chemistry analysis has not been done till now, but it is being used. That's what it is considered as a safer or more effective. But there is no evidence like why it is happening, why it is safer, why it is more effective. It is there should be the clinical trial, right? That then only we will come to know that how much quantity, what is the dose, and how it can be given at how much mg per kg body weight, then all those things. Herbal dietary supplements most often fall under the phytotherapy category, right? Herbal dietary supplements, it is generally it comes under the herbal phytotherapy category. When we talk about the history of herbal medicine, what happened actually from where it had started, we could see into the history of pharmacognosy also. There are a lot of contribution by the different scientists they have given, and they told that this plant is maybe active against this, right? So Hippocrates, Aristotle, Dioscorides, Galen, Lemery, so many contributors we could see, right? So here when it comes to the herbal medicine, the archaeological evidence indicate that the use of medicinal plants dates back to the Paleolithic age, or in the older age, approximately 60,000 years ago, right? Just imagine 60,000 years ago, because when the earth found the presence of life in it, or it may be the human being, it may be the before that monkey and whatever, though when they started finding themselves into the earth, first of all they started using the plant material for the food purpose. Then later on, whatever the problem they got, like a headache, fever, or something like that, they started recognizing the different plants, leaves, fruit, flower, whatever the parts, right? So that's what, it's not that maybe we don't have evidence today, but it is being used this many year ago, right? The written evidence, if you talk, written evidence of herbal remedies dates back over 5,000 years to the Sumerians, who compiled a list of plants having the medicinal value, right? If you are suffering from fever, you can use ashwagandha or giloy root or giloy leaves or so many, so on, right? So some ancient cultures wrote about plants and their medical uses in books called herbals, right? So they started compiling the list of whatever the text they used in the different centuries, right? In the, we talk about 400, 500, 600, 16, 17, 15, whatever the century it may be, whatever the era it was. But in the different text, different language, different form of information, they compiled about the plant and their uses, medicine, medical uses, right? In ancient Egypt, herbs are mentioned in Egyptian medical papyri, the depicted in tomb illustrates that, or on rare occasions found in the medical jars containing traces amount of herbs, right? So that was also there as a evidence in Egypt country, right? Among the oldest or lengthiest and the most important medical papyri means book or literature we can say, of ancient Egypt, the Ebers papyrus, that's what we could see in the history of pharmacognosy. Ebers papyrus dates from about 1550 BC, before Christ, and covers more than 700 compounds, mainly of the plant origin having medicinal values, they compiled in Ebers Papyrus, that was 1550 BC, right? That at that time, right? So this is comes under the history. In continuation of the history, the earliest known Greek herbals came from the Theophrastus, who is known as the father of botany, of Ereusos, who in the 14th century BC wrote a Greek Historia Plantarum from the Diocles and of Cratus, who wrote during the 3rd century BC, and from Cratias, who wrote the in the 1st century BC. So like that, three in 4th century, 3rd century, and 1st century, right? So different types of treatise it is available. Only a few fragments of these works have survived intact, but from what remains, scholars noted overlap with the Egyptian herbals. Right. Seeds likely used for the herbalism were found in the archaeological sites of Bronze Age China, dating from the Shang dynasty, right, in 1600 to 1046 BC. So after that, over 100 of the 224 compounds mentioned in the Huangdi Nizing, that is the name of data, is an early Chinese medical text, are herbs. Okay, herbs also commonly featured in the traditional medicine of ancient India, where the principal treatment for disease was diet, or it is also known as dietotherapy, the therapy which will be given by the given certain types of food. If you are suffering from fever, the certain types of foods will be there, rice should be avoided, roti should be given, like that. Or if you are suffering from any hypertension or diabetes, for certain types of, that's what disease was treated by the diet. Then later on, De Materia Medica, that also we could see in the history of pharmacognosy. De Materia Medica, originally written in Greek by the Pidenus Dioscorides in 40 to 90 AD, of Anaxagoras Cilicia, a Greek physician, pharmacologist, and botanist, is one of the example of herbal writing which was used for the 15 year until the 1600 century. So when now if you talk about the modern herbal medicine, what is going on apart from the history, the World Health Organization, or WHO, estimates that 80% of the population of some Asian and African countries presently use herbal medicine from some aspects of primary health care, right? 80% of the population from the Asian and African countries, they are completely believing onto the natural products or natural medicines for their primary health care, to improve their health, to improve their immunity, to improve the long term disease like chronic disease, say for example hypertension, diabetes, cancer, and so on. Pharmaceuticals are prohibitively expensive for the most of the world's populations, right? Because so many synthetic drugs which is available for the life threatening disease like AIDS and cancer, it is expensive. Or since it has lot of patent has been done, it has been developed after the 10-year 15-year research, so whatever the thing it is available, it is costly. So that's what, it is not affordable for so many country people, half of whom lived on less than US $2 us per day in 2002. In comparison, herbal medicines can grown from seed or gathered from the nature for little or no cost, because these are natural products. These are obtained from the nature, and they are from plant source, and it can be grow. Suppose seeds are available, you can grow the plant, you can collect the plant material, you can make the in the form of doses form, at least form by churna. You need not to depend on to the particular pharmaceutical industry. It may be available in the less cost or little cost, right? That's what it is. First of all, it is safe also, and it is having low cost also. So in continuation of modern herbal medicines, many of the pharmaceuticals currently available to the physicians have a long history of use as herbal remedies, including artemisinin from Artemisia plant, opium from opium. There is morphine, codeine, heroin, aspirin, digitalis purpurea like digitalis, digitoxin, digitini, right? And quinine from cinchona bar, quinine, quinidine, cinchonidine used for anti-malarial activity. So these are from the natural sources, right? And having very good use like morphine, potent analgesic, right? Aspirin, alto, COX2 inhibitor, quinine, anti-malarial, digitoxin, cardiac glycoside. So it is having very big use into the field of medicine, right? According to the World Health Organization (WHO), approximately 25% of modern drugs used in the United States have been derived from plants only, right? So you can see into the modern drug also 25% it is not synthesis or not modified, directly it is derived from the medicinal plants in US and not, right? At least 7,000 medical compounds in the modern pharmacopoeia, whatever it is available, USP, BP, IP, are derived from plants only. Among the 120 active compounds, it may be the aspirin, artemisinin, digitalis, or quinine, like that 120 active compounds currently isolated from the higher plants and widely used in modern medicine today. And 80% shows the positive correlation between their modern therapeutic use and the traditional use of the plant from which they are derived, right? Say for example, senna leaf, vinca leaf, raulfia root, ashwagandha root, right? So these are all we know are very much about their activity, right? So in the modern therapeutic use also they are having great importance, and 80% of these constituents show the positive correlation between their modern therapeutic use, right? That's what, whatever the modern therapeutic use it is there, that is having the reference from the natural products only or from the natural plants only. When we talk about the herbal preparation, what type of preparation and how, there are many forms in which herbs can be administered, right? What is the suitable route of administration, right? It may be the churna, it may be the taila, ashawa, arista, tablet, capsule, even parenteral also, right? The most common of which in is in the form of liquid, in the form of liquid that is drunk by the patient. It may be decoction, it may be infusion, either in herbal tea, it may be the form of tea. Herbal tea means aqueous extract, or possibly diluted plant extracted, which can be diluted by the suitable solvent, by the any types of oil, water, or any suitable vehicle we are using, and it can be drunk by the patient and can get cure from the disease and disorder. That's what, right? So this is the herbal preparation. Several methods of standardization may be determining the amount of herbs used, right? Several methods. It may be, suppose if it is liquid sample, specific gravity, refractive index, optical rotation, extractive value, ash value, right? And determination of stomatal number, determination of stomatal index, vein islet number, vein termination number, like these are the physical in chemical, test for alkaloid, test for glycoside, test for tannin, right? Color test, color reaction test, then so many morphological test it is there, organoleptic, color order test, shape and size. So likewise so many evaluation parameters it is available to see the quality and purity of the herbs. One is the ratio of raw material in solvent, right? Like that. However, different specimens of even the same plant species may vary in chemical content, right? It is not that in one genus, like if you talk the Rauwolfia serpentina, so in Rauwolfia there are so many other species are available. Solanum tuberculum, right? So many species are available. Solanum americanum. So in Solanum genus, so many species are available. So they may also contain the chemical constants, but the we have to find out the which is original and having the maximum quantity of desired chemical constituents, right? For this reason, thin layer chromatography TLC is sometimes used by the growers to assess the content of their product before use, right? So what is the quantity, right? Say for example, in opium there is a morphine. In opium latex we are getting the morphine. So if that latex, if you will take as a sample, and if you will dissolve in the suitable solvent, and if you perform the TLC, because you are having the sample, reference sample of morphine, and if both will run, so what is the RF value of morphine, you know? So whether the morphine it is present in this correct quantity or not, whether it is there or not, that can be assessed by the TLC, right? And we will be ensure that in your product there is a morphine in quantity before using. Another method of standardization on a single chemical, right? So these kinds of chemicals constituents which is there in your crude drug, you can make the extract and a TLC that will be helping into the standardization or ensuring the presence of desired chemical constituents in the given sample of crude drugs or herb. Okay, so this is the introduction class into the herbal, right? Or herb, what is the history of herbal medicine, what is the modern herbal formulation, herbal preparation, and what is the herbs, right? So herbs are, we could see the WHO also is saying the 80% population into the world, they are using the plant source drugs or plant source medicine. Those are nothing but herbal medicine for their to maintain their health, to cure the different types of disease and disorder. So that's what the this herbal drug, it is going to be very very important nowadays, and the coming future also the people are going to depend on to the herbs only.